Stop looking at your house stuff so we can do a video.
What I'm passionate about.
Stop looking at your house stuff so we can do a video.
Is this what you're wearing for the video?
We're already doing the video. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. It's Charles and Z, and we are lounging tonight, if you can't tell.
Yes.
We're lounging in our robies.
Yeah, what is today? Today is Thursday night.
Yeah.
So we put the kiddos to bed, and Charles had an interesting topic that he wanted to kind of talk about today.
Why are we getting into our topic already?
Why can't we get into our topic?
We've got to do some housekeeping.
Okay.
First off, as of right now, we are at 830 subscribers. It would be super duper if we could hit 1,000 subscribers. Yes. So if you're watching us and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. We put out new videos. We're going to continue doing it. But yeah, it'd be great to hit that 1,000 number.
It would be. It would be.
The topic for tonight is we want to talk about how it's tough to make friends as adults. You know, we notice with our kids, we take our kids to the playground and our kids make friends with all the other kids who are there at the playground. And I feel like in high school and maybe in college too,
for me.
It was super easy to make friends. You just rolled up on people out in wherever you were hanging out. Like, hey, you're kind of my age and you're doing kind of the same thing. Let's hang out.
Yeah.
But it seems like when you're an adult, it gets a lot more complicated.
It does. And I agree with that. For someone who's been in school for a long time, right? Elementary school, middle school, high school, college, then medical school, I felt like I always had a tribe of friends, even small group of friends. I always had a tribe. And once I graduated residency and got married and, the kiddos and all of that, I felt it's really hard to create new friendships. I still have some girlfriends who are scattered across the country, but as far as creating new friends, when you're working full time and taking care of kiddos, it has been quite difficult. And maybe it's just me or in my mind, but sometimes I feel like around where we live, I don't always fit in as far as personality wise.
We're in the suburbs.
Yeah, with the other moms, right? Maybe it's in my mind, but in my way, I feel like that's them a little bit different in that regards.
Well, a lot of the moms are stay-at-home moms.
Yeah, around here, yeah.
And I feel like they pretty much have their own clique set up. They do a lot of things together. They have their own groups.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're not in the group, you're out of the group. And
sometimes I've met moms, I've told Charles this before, and I don't like saying that I'm a full-time working mom, just because I feel like they put up a wall. I shouldn't say they, and this is not all, stay-at-home moms. I'm sure there's some that I jive with, but I found with a lot of the stay-at-home moms in my area, I feel like when they hear that, you're a professional, for some of them, it puts up a wall. Granted, we've met one or two who are professionals.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are cool.
Now, I know with me, so I work from home. Z drives to work at her clinic. I work from home, and some days I don't even leave the house. It's weird, but I feel that working from home is another hindrance to having friends. So I have, during my working lifetime, my adult lifetime, let's just say the last 10 years, I've had a couple of friends. Back when I used to bike, I had some friends through biking, but then I stopped biking because it was too tough to bike with kids. And now I really just have one friend, I would say, who he's a friend I knew a little bit in high school. We connected more in college.
Oh,
He doesn't even live close. He
yeah.
lives 4 hours away. And he and I he also works from home, and we basically text. And some days we'll go all day without texting each other, but he's pretty much my only person who I would
Yeah.
consider like a social friend. We all have work acquaintances, but he's the only person that I connect with just socially. And he's not even here. And I also feel like it's kind of a grab bag when your kids make friends and then the parents kind of get pulled in. Uh,
Mhm. Oh, yeah, this leads us
yeah,
into maybe some of our interesting experiences that we've had with
yeah.
meeting other parents.
When our kids meet somebody else, meet other kids at the playground, pretty much we figure that those parents are not going to get along with us.
I mean, I try to be open. I try to be open, right? For example, I'll give you one scenario. And you know who I'm referring to. But we went to a kid's birthday party for our daughter, and I thought I hit it off with the mom, right? And she came over to the house, I think once. We met them at the park. And I was like, oh, this is going to be my girl, right? I can relate with her. We can kiki. It wasn't uncomfortable, our conversation. We weren't similar in what we do. I think she was staying at home,
Mm,
but I was like, great personality. And then she just disappeared.
mm,
And the weird thing is, I knew she was going through some personal issues. The weird thing is, till this day, I haven't seen her in months, right? I invited her to a birthday party for our youngest child, no response. But until this day, every couple of weeks, I get messages, I think from her daughter, who uses her phone,
mm.
like silly emojis and things like that. And it was just so odd, right? She literally
Yeah.
just disappeared off the face of the earth. Not, hey, I'm moving. I'm sure the phone works and things like that. But just disappeared.
And that gets kind of weird with your kids too.
Yeah.
Like when your kids meet somebody they really like,
Yeah.
and this was our daughter's friend in this
Yeah.
particular case, and then something happens where the parents aren't vibing, and then all of a sudden you've got to kind of make up excuses with your kid, like why they can't hang out with so and so.
That was
And
probably the
yeah,
hardest part, though, because our daughter kept telling, I want to hang out. And, I don't think it was us. I didn't take it personally.
no.
I don't think it was anything that we did. I think maybe
She had some relationship
yeah,
problems, and there was like it was kind of weird. Like our daughter was coming home and saying some interesting things, like so and so's dad came and did this, and it's like, oh well, that's kind of an adult topic.
yeah, she was. And, after me reaching out to this mom about 3 times, I was done. But because my daughter kept on asking about, can so and so come over, or is she going to meet us there? It really tugged at my heart because it's also difficult for her, I think, to make friends
Yeah,
just because she's different.
she's
She's
delightful.
fabulous.
She's out just
Yeah, she's fabulous, but she just tends to connect with specific personalities, right?
yeah.
That's just who she is. And she and this other young lady, they were just the duo. And so it really kind of tugged at my heart that, she had a really great friend. And besides the point, what was going on with mom, I just wanted them to hang out. And so, despite me being like, no, not even reaching out anymore, I tried to go the extra mile and keep on reaching out a few more
And that
times.
was very uncharacteristic for you.
It took the most because when you put me on go, I'm like, okay, I am not, I'm not texting, I'm not doing a phone call, I'm not sending email, but I just want to, I guess, try on her behalf because she kept on asking about this friend. And I felt she didn't really communicate this, but I felt like she went through a little bit of a lower point in her mood, I should say.
Correct.
Just because I think she was feeling a little bit lonely. Now she has a fabulous neighborhood friend, and I'm like, let's hold on to
Yeah.
her.
It's pretty sweet. It's somebody they
Yes.
actually like run back and forth between their house and our
Yeah,
house.
just as a
Ooh, it's
side
good.
note. So
It's good.
she's fabulous
Yeah.
now, but at that time it tugged at me, and it kind of annoyed me a little bit. So, but yeah, that was my little random experience.
And then I'd say in general, with the way our society is so divided today, it seems like it really restricts the people that you could hang with, right? It's like you realize things about people that you thought you knew before, and now you know things that make you not want to really hang with them. And I feel like when you encounter somebody new, you've got to figure out like which side of this fence are those people on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's a part. But that aside, I look, at least for the children's sake, are they kind, right? Are they
Yeah.
kind to the people around them? I may not agree.
Unfortunately, that's like a side of the fence now.
Yeah, I mean, if you call that a side of the fence, I'm just going with kind. But I think there's
Yeah.
kind people on both sides of the fence, though, right? So that's, I think, the difference for me, because I've met them, right? So I look and see how do they treat the people around them,
Yeah.
and that will dictate whether I allow my children or if I want to pursue a relationship with them, right?
Yeah.
If they're nice to me, but they're saying bad things about this or that person, that's problematic for me. And that's not someone that I would engage with or have our children around. Yeah. But that's how I try to approach things. Otherwise, it can be so, what's the word? It can be so exhausting to try to see like, who matches with me politically, who matches with, I just want kind people who want to engage with us. That's what I'm looking for in general. But going back to friendships, it would be nice, I think, for us. In my mind, I daydream about us having that, you know, what's the word? That family, you know, where, you know, you're cool with the dad, I'm cool with the mom. You know, we have kids of similar ages.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you and the dad can just, you know, shoot the breeze, or, I can vent with mom on the phone after a long day. Ideally that would be a nice scenario.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I'm like, I was joining, and I'm still a part of them, but I'm not really an active member. I was joining all these Facebook groups for moms to see their get together times. And I haven't completely let it go, but I'm not as deliberate with looking for get ups or meetings, because that was exhausting. And so I'm just like, if it's going to happen, if we can make an event or something, then we'll do it. But I'm not. I tried to create a Facebook group for moms with children of similar age. And
you create a Facebook group?
Remember, I did that event thing for that mom group.
Oh, you tried to create an event. You create an event for the.
Well, yeah, an event, I guess.
Okay.
For a mom get up for playdates for our youngest kiddo. And I didn't really get much response in that regards. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to let it be organic, right?
Yeah.
In how it goes. So we'll meet people. We'll get our children out. I mean, you're literally my best friend, and that's great. And when I'm sick of you, I'll go and log in and look at my houses and decor, and you'll do your photography. And that's how we'll do it. And we've met a few people, though, right? Like with the kids.
We have.
Summer camp.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The kids' summer camp, we ended up hanging out with one of their teachers there, and she was cool. She and her daughters.
Yeah, I mean,
they were very, very smart. Made us self-conscious about
you need that sometimes. You need that sometimes.
Our parenting.
And our older son, has a friend. Remember, we saw them at the doctor's visit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we've made people, not that we're best friends with the parents, but we know some people who the kids can hang out with, and our kids are happy, right?
They are.
And I think it's just a part of getting older, with our responsibilities with work and things like that. It's just hard. It's just hard. I'm sure you all relate. It's hard making new friends, right?
Yeah.
Unless you have ride or die friends who live close by. It's difficult making new friends, especially when I think there's unique personalities like you and I. It's going to take some special people for us to bond with.
Yeah, I know me as I get older, I can't fake it so much.
Oh, I can't either.
Yeah,
I think you do better than me.
if I'm annoyed and or bored by a conversation, I'm just going to shut down and eventually walk away. I can't fake it anymore.
Do you feel like you're deliberate, or do you want to be deliberate in looking for new friends?
Um, I, I would, if I knew a good way to meet people that's not like making me vulnerable, and it's odd, that, because I mean I've thought about, like, I'll take my laptop computer and I'll go to the coffee shop to work, and I'll just kind of see what's happening in the world
Yeah.
while I'm working, and maybe I see somebody else doing the same thing. I don't know. I could do that, but then I just worry too much, like, oh, I'm going to meet somebody and they're not going to be interesting. They're not going to jive with me politically, which kind of makes or breaks whether you can get along with somebody these days, unfortunately. They're, I talk myself out of it because I feel like there's so much that can go wrong. And I think that's the reason that the one person who I would call a friend is somebody that I've known since high school.
Yeah.
And hence I feel like you make most of your friends in high school, college, and like as an adult, those friends are some of the ones that you have to carry with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's just so much many barriers, like as an adult, to creating new relationships.
And I feel with that too, piggybacking off of that too, when you're younger, you're more malleable, so to speak. You're more open to different point of views and different individuals. I feel like when you're older with years, you're more rigid in your views.
Oh yeah.
And who you're open to, you know what I mean? And I feel like when I was in my early 20s or in college, I want to hear all viewpoints. I want to talk to everybody. Now at this age, not that I'm not receptive to, learning about new things, but what's the word? I'm a lot more selective on the type of individuals that I purposely engage with, right?
You only have so much time to give, right?
Correct. So if something doesn't jive from the get-go, I'm out. I'm not even, while when I was in my 20s, right, I had all the time in the world, to make friends, lose friends. I had a lot of time to waste, so to speak. And now I'm limited. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm tired right now. On the weekends, I'm tired with 3 kiddos. I'm tired doing work. So I think that makes it more difficult.
We fantasize about good night's sleep.
Being in bed at 8 p.m. and then sleeping or just laying in bed until 9 a.m. Yes, and yes. That is what I dream about, just laying, and then with a cup of coffee, just laying in bed in the morning in silence. Okay.
So
anyway,
to wrap it up, that's why we are each other's best friends. and a lot of the time only friends.
No, no, but in all seriousness, it is important that your partner really is your best friend, especially when you're married and you're working full time. We have our tiffs, right?
Yeah,
But it's really important that it's not, to me, in my opinion at least, that we have a friendship as the foundation, right? We love each
correct.
other, but there is a friendship, right? You make me laugh, right? You're receptive to hearing about, my bad days, my good days. I look forward to telling you about my day, good or bad. I want your feedback, your insight on certain things, right? Um, Clothes, professional decisions, all the above. I think that is really important. Now, it's nice having a friend right outside of your marriage. I think that's healthy.
Yeah.
And you have your friend you talk with. I have my friend. We don't talk every day, just because she's a professional. But I tell you, some days, like on my drive home, when I talked to her, I'm like, it felt so good just to
Oh yeah.
vent, right? My friend from residency just felt good to like talk about just random stuff and vent, right? Because we'll talk for a good hour or two. And we talk maybe every couple of weeks just because, she's working a doctor in the hospital and she has long shifts herself. But it feels so good to do the woman venting. So you do need that too. That is healthy. And I think you feel that way too with your jokes and your venting kind of
Oh
to
yeah.
with your friend, right?
Yeah.
So it does give us a little bit, it's nice to have a little bit of what's the word? Outside.
Perspective.
Yeah, right. Because I'm sure he gives a perspective, your friend, that I, that I can provide you with. And same thing with my friend. Sometimes she gives me input. Sometimes she sees things your way, right? Or sometimes she sheds light where, I didn't think about it, nor did you think about it this way. So that is nice too. So I think for me to wrap up kind of what we're talking about, I'm just going to let things, I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm not going to be hunting down friends on the Facebook group, trying to go to mom get ups, because I feel like it's very a contrived way of having a friendship.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
It's like the fast food friendship.
Yeah. And I feel like things should be, it just really should be organic. It should.
Yeah. And I will not be forcing the looking for friends either. If I happen to find one, cool. But
I think it will happen in time. I feel like from my experience in life, I go through periods of time where, the friendship well is dry. And then random things, something happens at the flea market,
yeah,
work, you meet good people. And although I know we're in an area where, our viewpoints may differ from a lot of individuals, I still feel like there's good people
oh yeah,
that are around. Yeah.
absolutely. So maybe in the comments, let us
Yes.
know what you guys do. How did you meet your bestie? If you're a work from home person, what do you do to find new folks?
Yes. How do you make new friends?
Yeah, that would be helpful. But on that note, thank you very much for watching
Yes.
us. If you didn't already, remember to subscribe. Very
Like and
important.
subscribe below.
We like making these videos for you
Yes.
guys. And have a great night. Talk to
Good
you soon.
night.
By the way, if you dig our Robies that we're wearing tonight, I'm going to put a link down below.
Oh, I want to do that too.
They're hooded. They're hooded Robies. And I know the rest of the world calls them robes. We call them Robies because we're weird. But what we do is we walk around the house like this, and we pretend that we're invisible.
You're such a, oh, and while we're at it too, you have to get this case, right? If you're a mom like me and you drop your phone all the time, or your kids grab your phone, like my 18-month-old, and bite on it, this is a lifesaver. This has saved me from so many cracks and breaks on my phone. You guys see the link down below.